প্রাণায়াম মুদ্রাগুলো করি তার থেকে কিভাবে আলাদা বা কিভাবে একেবারে পরিপূরকতা রাখবো?
So ये पूछ रहा है कि गुड क्वेश्चन. सो आई विल से इन हिंदी. ये पूछ रहे हैं बिकॉज ज़्यादातर लोग हिंदी समझते हैं. ये पूछ रहे हैं कि देखिए हम तो बचपन से योग साधना कर रहे हैं, तो क्रिया योग किस तरह से अलग है, कैसे अलग है, तो ये उनका प्रश्न है. तो ये जो क्रिया योग जो है उसमें जो है दो चीज़ें हैं. एक है स्वाध्याय की वाणी जो कि जो समझदारी है जो लाहिरी महाशय की वो है, और दूसरा है तप which is the practices, specific practices that Lahiri Mahasaya has taught us for many generations. And we say that when the beauty of Swadhyaya and Tap come together, then there is a possibility of something that is beyond what we see in the day-to-day life. And the essence of the teachings of Lahiri Mahasaya is that the self, the separative side that we experience normally is valid, but it is not real. And why it is not real? Because if you see what is the nature of the self, you are nothing but really a bundle of memories. If you see the content of your consciousness is your fear, your greed, your anger, your jealousy. But we sort of say big words like instead of fear we say anxiety, instead of comparison or wanting and craving this constant that we have, we say it is ambition. और इसी को हम लोग सोचते हैं कि ये हम हैं, but really all these things is really the content of your consciousness. And what we do is that we create a separate entity called I and say that we want to work on these contents of our consciousness. But if you see, in reality, when you are angry, there is no difference between yourself and your anger. Your fear and you are not different. You are your fear, you are your anger, you are your wanting and craving. If you remove all of that, then what are you? You are not there. But understanding this is not easy. ये समझदारी जो आसानी से आती नहीं है, because जिस तरह से हम बड़े हुए हैं, starting with our identification of ourselves with a name, and even before that, we think that the separative side that we experience is the reality. तो ये चीज़ अगर समझ में नहीं आता है, then we say don't even try to understand, because in the technical world there's a difference between you and the object you're working on. If you're trying to fix a car, there's a difference between the mechanic and the car. But in the psychological world, you and the car are same. There's no dichotomy between the subject and the object. So if you try to do anything on yourself, it becomes big, complex. It further complicates the problem. So we say you do Kriya Yoga, and these are profound practices which are very, very scientific that we share, which helps you develop an energy of understanding so that you understand whatever I said, not in verbal terms, but in your being, your bone marrow and your blood cells. And that is the effect of Kriya Yoga. And when that happens, it opens new possibilities for you, because then you're not in the stranglehold of the illusions that the mind plays. Then your life becomes a totally different thing. You're not only very peaceful in your day-to-day life, in your relationships, but you also outshine in your routine day-to-day work, because day-to-day life is important for earning a living, and that will produce its own effect. You don't have to run behind promotions and more money and better jobs. It will come to you. They will run after you, because the intervention of the separative side is less. A lot of our problems in day-to-day life is because of this intervention, which creates the anticipation of which comes along with anticipation comes fear of not getting something. And so, for example, and that plays in your mind, it affects your day-to-day work. So that is what we talk about, and there are some profound practices which we say are sacred and therefore secret, and therefore we don't share them. You won't find YouTube videos and all that. Even people who are initiated, we say, look, don't go tom-tomming around that you have learned Kriya Yoga from the original place in the world and show it as a certificate and discuss. And not because we don't want others to know, it's because it's sacred. You have to understand what we talk about in the practices rather than just doing the practices. So if you just do the practices, we say it's like any physical fitness program, you can go to the gym and do it. So that is, what is difference between Kriya Yoga and other sadhanas. And then this question that you asked can be dealt with for hours together, and for that, we have a process of retreats. After initiation, other than initiation, we also go in retreats where we come together for many days, and then we go deep into specific questions. And this is a good question that you asked.
So I just one small question. Sir, for yogic practices, it is necessary for in any practice that men or women have to internalize their libido. But for a common man who is in household setting, but he is trying to practice Kriya Yoga and trying to elevate his internal self, how is it possible to internalize libido when he is in this normal sitting?
Who said that? Who told you one has to internalize libido?
Restriction is, I thought.
So this is also something that we talk about in Kriya Yoga, that we are in so much under the influence, stranglehold of belief systems. We read so much, we have been told so much that those beliefs look as facts, but those beliefs are only beliefs, they are not facts. Somebody has told you about libido that is there and that is related to Kriya Yoga. You have started thinking it's a fact. But what is a fact? This is a fact. It is a fact that this camera which is looking at me is a fact. But this concept of libido, moksha, nirvana, they may be true, but for you it's a belief. It has no value for you. What Krishna told about moksha was because he understood, it had happened to him. But what we do here, people do 2-year courses in Bhagavad Gita और फिर आके बोलते हैं कि मोक्षा के बारे में बोलते रहते हैं कुछ आइडिया बन गया उनका. So that it is nothing but a belief. And the whole religion, the system of religion that human beings have, is based on beliefs. And that is the pain of our existence. We think that the belief is the fact. We think that the word is the thing. But that is not true. So first of all, you have to unshackle your belief. You have to appreciate that when I was talking to you about Kriya Yoga and Swadhyaya, were you really listening? Or were you filtering through, whatever you have heard about Kriya Yoga, is it right? If it is aligned with what you have read, you allow it to go in. If it is not aligned, then you reject. It doesn't even get into your brain. So when we do those initiation sessions, first we start with, learn to listen. Listen as if you're listening for the first time. Don't listen and compare at the same time. You can go out, listen first, allow the thing to come into your brain, then go to your hotel or wherever you're staying. Then you can decide whether right or wrong, and if you want to reject, you can reject. But at least give the words a chance to enter yourself. Okay.